Hello, everyone. Today, I have a really sweet deal for everybody. I have Katya Varbanova here from Katya.com. And I can't believe, Katya, that you got that domain name. That is beautiful. It's like me getting Ina.com. That would be amazing. But thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to be talking to you today.
So happy to be talking to you. And yeah, it is Ina.com will be pretty dope if you could get that.
Right? I think I'm going to put that on my bucket list. That's got to happen. So
just put it on your wish list for people to buy. I'm sure there's a price tag out there that somebody would sell it for.
Wow, that would be amazing. So why don't we start with you telling us a little bit of who you are and what you do?
So my official title, you could say, is viral marketing strategist. I also like to call myself an innovator because I like to find the gaps in the market and to create things that don't exist before. So a lot of people say pioneer, innovator. And my main brand that the two main things that I'm known for is one is 20K Nation, which is my mastermind I've been running since 2015. And I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs with that get to $20,000 a month selling digital products. And the other part of my brand that people know me for is Viral Marketing Stars, which I only launched in 2020. And Viral Marketing Stars is the part of the business where we give entrepreneurs ready-made templates that help them go viral, help them get their content viral, their product viral, their message viral. And that, interestingly enough, started in 2019, again, as a part of my innovation personality. When I was creating those products and those templates, there was nobody else that was doing anything like it. I saw lots of people that did templates such as like ad templates or sales templates, but nobody was doing viral and share-worthy social media templates like infographics and carousel templates. Like nobody was doing that at all. I was, as far as I'm aware, I was pretty much the first person to create a bundle of infographic and carousel templates so that experts can use them on Instagram and Facebook. And that now has become pretty much, it's my estimation is that in 2021, this will probably become bigger than my other brand. Like it's growing so exponentially. So yeah, viral marketing strategist. I help you launch viral products and I help you create viral content. Those two things.
And people should go to your Instagram account. And this is something I want to get into too, because you're in the process of, you just created a brand new Instagram account and you're kind of migrating from the old live stream Katya, which we're going to get into. I'm not leaving anything like under the rocks here. We're going to flip every stone. You're migrating into a new Instagram account. Can you tell us what that new Instagram account is and what it will be for?
Sure. I started, I used to be known as Livestream Katya. I started as a live streamer at the beginning of my journey, Periscope. And I grew that account to like almost 10,000 followers. And now what happened is I decided to start a new one and I decided to call it The Official Katya, which kind of one goes with the domain name. And two, I really feel I've evolved so much over the last 5 years that it made sense to start afresh. And it also, the Instagram algorithm prefers new, fresh accounts very often over, I know your eyes are looking, but I get the same amount of story views on my new account with currently less than 1,000 followers than I do on my other account with close to 10,000 followers. Yeah. Same amount of story views.
So you are a marketing guru here. So first of all, the global phenomenon is all about the coaching industry. And it's almost like it's two different universes, people who work full time versus people who decided that there's freedom out there, right? And there is no overlap there. The corporate world has no idea about all of this that is happening. That is a place for top performers to really be themselves and be able to make money with it. So I always like to go back to a time when this whole freedom world wasn't really a thing for you. You didn't know that it was there. You were just getting your law degree. You got a job in banking. Take me back to what Katya was like back then, when you had a plan for your life that had nothing to do with the kind of life that you have right now.
Yeah. I think I've always been ambitious. People always say that. I mean, I, not many people know this. You're probably the first podcast that I shared this with, but I was able to read and write in Bulgarian, which is where I'm from, by the age of 3. And I was able to speak English with a pretty decent accent, so much so that I corrected my mom anytime she mispronounced it. At the age of 6, and I was a straight A star student throughout my entire life. And I did that because I was always ambitious to be the best that I can be. It wasn't so much about being better than somebody else. It was more so I want the best grades for myself and the best. I want to be ahead of everything. It's probably where all the fascination with being a pioneer comes from. I've always done everything early before. Like, I don't know about you, but in Bulgaria, you don't get to study the alphabet by the age of 7. And I was writing by the age of 3. So, so back to your question. I remember in banking, I was super ambitious and wanted to be a director. My ambition was to be the first director before the age of 30, because I was in a retail bank environment that every single director there was over 50. And every single person that was making good money was a director. So I remember I would be the kind of person that would get up at 7 a.m. and get to the office at 7 a.m. and I would leave at like 6 p.m. while most other people would go at 9 and leave at 5. So I was always that person going the extra mile, and I really enjoyed it. And I'll be honest, I was a little bored. Okay. I wasn't unhappy. I was bored. However, I did have a mentor at my corporate job called John. And John, whenever I would moan to John, "Oh, John, I'm so bored. I'm so sad." Like, anytime I would moan to him, and he would always say to me, "Katya, how grateful are you that you have something that is secure, that allows you to take a breather, not worry about money, so that you do have energy to create something on the side that you love." And he always gave me that perspective. And I think, looking back, yes, there were a lot of things I didn't like, but I believe that there's nothing that happened to me. I chose the job. I chose to stay there for 2 years, and I eventually chose to think of it as a blessing.
I know that you actually started doing the marketing things. I know that Perry 10K was born during the time that you were working. So I want you to tell us, what was that pivotal point? What was that spark that made you go, there's something new that I can do here, while you were still working?
So I was on Periscope as a listener for quite a while, just as a viewer. I was obsessed with watching other people go live. I don't know why. It was just something I was fascinated with.
And for anybody who is not familiar with Periscope, because now it's kind of like the fad has kind of like died down. I remember it was a great app affiliated with Twitter, that
it's owned by Twitter. Yeah.
Owned by Twitter. Like, you could do live streaming, and you could go to see the map of the world and see who is live streaming in a particular spot. You could zoom into the map and see who is live streaming in this part of the world. Like, who's live streaming in my street? I always thought it was a really, really cool app.
Yeah. It was so good. It was so good. I love Periscope. I was watching a lot of Periscopers, and I was observing what they were doing. And I joined a couple of Periscope communities. They were all free. One thing I did notice that a little bit bothered me was that there was a lot of people that were trying to compete with each other. Like, "Oh, I'm going to get more followers than Alex, and I'm going to get..." It's like, I was thinking to myself, are these people, and I'm sorry to say this, but are these people a little dumb? Because if they only like work together, they would actually grow much faster, rather than like I just did not understand this. Even when I was in banking, I was always very focused on how can I create win-win situations with my colleagues. So same thing here. I thought to myself, this really annoys me. I really want to prove that collaboration is the best way to grow. So I just went live one day and I said, "Hey guys, I have this idea. I really want to show the world that if you collaborate rather than compete, we can achieve so much more together. I just really want to show, I want to create something that can prove that to the world so I can go out and say, look, you that compete, you're wrong. I want to have something tangible. And I said to the live stream viewers, I said, what should I call it? What should I call it? The goal is to get to 10,000 followers together. And somebody said, somebody threw all sorts of names. Somebody mentioned the Perry Grow Project.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's the one. I'm going to call it Perry, and I'm going to add a 10K, Perry 10K Growth Project. And I'm going to start a Facebook group, and you're all invited.
Nice.
So I got my first 15 Facebook group members in the first 24 hours just from those Periscope viewers. And I called it Perry 10K Growth Project. And we started doing collaborating together and working together. And I have like lots of little secrets about how, like when people join my masterminds, I have lots of little secrets of how different collaboration projects can really skyrocket your audience. And we started growing and growing and growing, that I ended up having 150 members in the group within weeks. And then I think one of the members suggested to me, hey, I can see this is taking a lot of your time and you have a full-time job. Why don't you put a membership fee to it? And I was like, what? No, like that would make me greedy. Like, isn't the whole point that I started this community? Also, why would somebody pay me? All other Periscope communities are free.
Right.
That was what was going through my head. And then I started thinking, well, what if I could turn that into something that pays, right?
Yeah.
So what I did is I asked a couple of my most trusted members, and I said, hey, would you be upset? I literally just asked, hey, would you be upset if I charged for this? And they all said, we would be so happy for you. I was so shocked. I don't know. I guess I was one of these people that I believed that I could collaborate with everybody and help everybody, but part of me didn't believe I deserved other people accepting that of me.
Yeah.
So when I got that approval of my 3 members, I decided to charge £10 a month to start with. I was so scared.
Yeah.
And I decided to charge £10 a month for the first 20 members. And then £20 a month for the next 20 members. And then £30 a month for the next 20 members. And by literally, I swear, by literally like 10 or 14 days of opening the doors, I had 60 members. And I matched my monthly salary from the bank.
Right.
And I handed in my notice. It was October of 2015. And I started the membership in August. It was that quick.
Wow.
So I literally went from nothing to a paid community that paid my bills. This was the day I realized people love to pay money to be part of something exclusive.
Yeah.
And ever since then, the community has always been exclusive. It's always been application only. We've always raised the price. We've now raised it to 5 years later. It is now $200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we have grown so much over the years, and I just can't believe that I was so afraid to charge £10 a month. That's what sometimes I wonder, like, how did I get through that?
Yeah. And I think that you did it exactly right. You acknowledged your fears. You saw like, oh my God, like, no, wait, that's going to make me greedy, that people are going to hate me for this. And you're like, okay, let's just ask, get a little bit of confidence, start doing it, and then you got it. And, look where you are now. So what I want everybody to get out of this story, which is why I wanted you to share that with us, is that we all start somewhere that is riddled with fear, that is riddled with self-doubt. And it's not until you start to take action that you start to see the fruit of that, step that you take, and you can keep growing from there. Because after that, you were the live stream guru for a while, and now you're doing, viral marketing, and we're gonna get to that journey. But there is something that I heard in one of your past interviews that I really wanted you to teach us a little bit about. If there's one thing I never want anybody to walk away from this podcast thinking, is that, oh, everything is easy and everything is just going up and everything is wonderful. I want everybody to hear all the challenges that come up that could easily make anybody else just stop and quit. And I'd love to know what happened there and how did you overcome it? Tell us more.
So when I started, obviously, that was when it was still a free community. Obviously, I had a lot of members, and there were a couple of members that I allowed to step over my boundaries, and some of them were starting to almost take the lead themselves and treat me more like, not so much as the leader, but more as a pawn. Like they would start, for example, they would start like they would post a suggestion in the group, but it would be more of a complaint. And then they would say, Katya, you need to change this in front of everybody. And they would start acting like the leader of the group. And at first I was just feeling very uncomfortable, but after a while it got so deep that they would come on our live stream shows and they would start making inappropriate jokes. I personally felt bullied. I felt like, here's somebody who who was trying to take control. And the reason they were doing that, by the way, is because they offered to help me with some of the tech setup. Like they were very tech savvy, they were very good, and at the time I thought they were very kind to me, right? So they offered to help me with some tech support, and I was really appreciative of that, like so grateful. If at any point they asked me to pay them, I would have found a way to pay them. But there was none of that communication. They were just helping me. And I think after a while, maybe they got a little uneasy about the fact that they were helping me for free. And I always say this to people: don't help people for free expecting them to do something in return without ever communicating it. It's covered contract. It can really make a person feel so depleted. Like I felt so bad, I had to make a decision to remove people from the group. It was like I started this community and I'm already kicking people out. It was, and I'm 23, for God's sake.
Right.
And those people are like people who've been in business for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like it was just very stressful. But I will say this: if I could go back and change something about it, I would be better at communicating what I want and what I don't want. I definitely would say over time you learn how to deal with customers better. Over time you learn how to recognize somebody who is toxic that you gotta just kick out, and somebody who maybe has a point and you do have to consider it. It kind of makes you grow up real fast.
Yeah. And fast. You stumbled upon that one very early on, which is great, which is pay people for helping you out. I was teaching a podcasting class once, and I was telling them, like you should get somebody to do like all these menial things. And they're like, oh yeah, I think my brother can help me with that. I'm like, never allow anybody to help you for free. Like I've had my sister help me in my business and I pay her, right? There's gotta be a feeling of a mutual benefit here, and listen to your gut every time. If something is off, then something probably is. So it seems like you learned that lesson really early on. This is now a business. This is bringing money in. You've decided, okay, I'm turning this into a real thing. I would love to ask you, at which point did you hire your first high price premium coach?
I'm never going to say never, but I don't think I'm the kind of person that will throw $50,000 in a mastermind. Why pay $50,000 for a mastermind when I can find out who the owner of the mastermind is, and I'll get them to hire me as an expert, and then I'll be a speaker at their mastermind.
Okay.
Ina's face.
No, my face is like, that just blows my mind, because one thing that I just keep saying here over and over is that there isn't one cookie cutter way to be successful in business. And this is why I bring people like you to tell us a completely different perspective. So I want to dive into this a little bit deeper. So let's tackle first the need for having a coach, for example, because you've proven to yourself to be extremely savvy marketer, to be an extremely savvy community creator and community leader, right? You're extremely smart with your money. You are making the 10, 20, $100,000 months. What makes you say, I need additional help from a coach?
Nowadays, I hire specialists who are coaches and consultants. So, for example, I hired a friend of mine who is a brilliant brand developer and strategist. And I paid her, I committed to $10,000. And she helped me with my rebrand. So it is usually things that just are not in my zone of genius. So to me, really, it's if I need to achieve something and I just don't have the expertise, I go all in. I don't think I've ever hired a coach when I have been in like my absolute lowest. When I'm in my absolute lowest, I just take a break. I just take a break from a month away and I go do something else. So usually when I hire them, I'm always like on the cusp of something or like on an upward trajectory, and I want to keep going.
Yeah.
So
I like that perspective, because for anybody who's considering hiring their first coach, they got to understand that this is not something they do because they're down in the dumps and they need somebody to come and save them. Right?
Oh, I hate that. I cannot work with people who come and tell me that they're giving me their last penny and this depends on them. Like, don't give me your last penny, for goodness sake. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I will not heal you.
Right. Like nobody's coming to rescue you. Like coaches and people who know more about something that you don't is those are the people that help you level up when you are really getting started, when your passion is there, when your grit is there. Like these are the people that are going to help you move forward. So let me ask you, so I really wanted to cover the fact that you went from live streaming to viral videos. Can you tell us just a lesson on the pivots? A lot of people stop themselves from even getting into business because they feel like their ideas are still brewing in their mind, right? You are proof that you've made several very successful businesses with several different niches. So can you tell us a little bit of what we can learn from that path that you've taken?
Well, I think the biggest lesson is if you understand my timeline, which is 2015, my positioning and messaging was go live, collaborate, make an impact. In 2016, my messaging was make videos, collaborate, make an impact. In 2017 and 2018, it started being go viral and make an impact. And that is how it evolved. It started from go live and make videos to go viral, no matter whether you use videos or images or posts or articles or whatever. It was this is the thing. I didn't go from a chatbot expert to a Facebook ads expert to a relationship guru to I didn't confuse my audience so much. I kind of expanded the bubble. Like if I started here, I went there and there and there and there and there. I believe Amy Porterfield is a great example of that. Amy Porterfield started as a Facebook expert. That's it. And now she's like online marketing person in general, right? But she started with just little Facebook. So that's what I suggest to a lot of people is you start in a little bubble and you just gradually expand. What most people try and do, they start over here and then they wonder why nobody cares. It's like, you're not Tony Robbins. You cannot help people unleash the power within, okay? Like, don't go there. You got to start here, like somewhere part of that. And the biggest lesson that I can pass along from this journey is don't look for the perfect messaging now, because the perfect messaging doesn't exist. In fact, the messaging you have now the more you tell it, the more feedback you'll get, the more you'll change it. So what your messaging is this year may not be the same messaging next year, may not be the same messaging next year. Just like big companies change their marketing campaign message all the time, you will too. So don't think of your message and your marketing as a destination. Like, you cannot get there. You cannot get a viral message. A viral message evolves over time. Viral messaging is something you test, improve, and tweak, and test and improve and tweak consistently. So don't treat it like a destination.
Yeah. I love it, because I want everybody who's listening to this to just freaking start, to stop thinking about it and just get something out there to start to get that feedback. So let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have of you as a successful entrepreneur?
Ooh, good question. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that I was born good at sales. I was when I was in Avon as a sales rep, I was so bad. My one and only customer was my grandma. I could not sell makeup to save my life. So I definitely was not a born salesperson. I would admit, I think I am definitely a born marketer and like influencer, but I would not call myself a born salesperson. I think sales is something that I really had to push myself to learn. And marketing without sales is just being broke. So the fact that I've been able to grow my business consistently for 5 years, that tells you that I can get good at sales, and that anyone can get good at sales and marketing in general. I truly believe in the power of education and the power of studying. I guess it's why I'm so good at selling courses too, and helping other people sell courses. I believe in courses. I believe in education. Anytime I buy a course, I will always find a way to make an ROI from it. I will, like, I don't have a course. You know how people say, "Oh, I bought this and I got burned." I've bought hundreds in 5 years, and I have never bought a course that I regret buying.
Right.
I have never bought a course, because no matter how meh the course might be, I will find a way to make it, to learn something. Even if it's to learn how not to do a course, that's still valuable. So I really believe in education. I don't think many people realize that. I think many people think that, so.
Yeah. And I think that you hit on something that I want everybody to also realize, that a lot of these successful entrepreneurs that I interview here are not finger pointers, are not people who are looking for the next coach or the next course to be their salvation. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to be so angry and I'm going to leave them a bad review. And everybody that I've interviewed, and I have the same mindset, is no matter what I invest in, I'm a big girl. I take responsibility and accountability for my actions, and I will make the best of this no matter what it throws at me. So I love hearing that from you.
Here's a lesson that this is something I heard a friend of mine, Jesse, say once, and I'll share this with you, especially if you're selling coaching, or if you plan to sell coaching. Anytime somebody goes to him and says, "Hey, Jesse, I've been burnt so many times by coaches. How do I know this will work for me?" And what I love that Jesse always said to people like that, he would always say, "Don't buy. I don't want you to buy, because I don't want to be next on the line." And I was like, damn. Yeah, if you've been burned by so many coaches and so many courses, I don't want to be next.
Yeah. Let me ask you, if I gave you the power to get the world to listen and to do whatever you tell them to do in the next 24 hours, and they have to do it to improve their life, to be happier, to have a greater business, what would that thing that you want everybody to do be?
I would ask them to come visit Malta, where I live, because it is so beautiful. And I would love to have more entrepreneurs here, because there aren't that many. So I would probably force them to come visit and to move here. That's probably what I would do. Let's think one business wise, shall we? One that's going to be helpful. Visiting Malta. If it's something helpful that I would ask people to do, I would ask them to stop overthinking. You don't need to know step 1 to 50 in order to start. You just need step 1.
Mhm.
As long as you know your step 1, do step 1. Once you're at step 1, decide what your step 2 is. Once you're at step 2, and so on. You're not allowed to think. You're only allowed to make decisions.
I like that.
How's that?
I like that.
How's
I think
that?
I think I'm gonna do that for the next 24 hours.
Okay.
So thank you so much for being here, Katya. How can people find you and follow you?
Well, like you mentioned at the beginning, I am very proud owner of Katya.com. That is Katya.com. If you are somebody that wants to, that really has a message that matters, and you really care about reaching thousands, millions of people with it, there is really no better way to do that than social media. But since social media is very time consuming, I have a lot of time saving things and templates for you. So I invite everyone to always check viralcontenttemplates.com, which is my best selling product. We have sold over, at this point, over close to 4,000 of those. And it is a time-saving Canva set of templates that are expertly formulated to go viral and get customers. Buy yours, Katya.com, truly. They're my most proud work of the last 5 years. They are only $30 at the time of recording this. They might be more, who knows, but if you get lucky, you might get them for 30. And there's 100 of them in there, so I strongly recommend going to viralcontenttemplates.com. And then if you want to stalk me, Katya.com and the official Katya on Instagram.
Awesome. And I will put all those links in the show notes. Katya, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Ina. Ina.com.
Ina.com. Let's manifest this. Bye.